Paragraph 6C, the survey. This paragraph has been a source of confusion for years with real estate agents, and the main source of that confusion has to do with 6C1. And there are three options there, option 1, option 2, and option 3. 2 and 3 are easy. Option 2, buyer buys a new survey at buyer's expense. Number 3, seller purchases a survey for the buyer at seller's expense. But number 1 is definitely the most commonly used box because there normally is an existing survey. The problem arises when the seller, during, let's say, the listing appointment, when they're signing the listing agreement with the agent who's going to market their house, the agent will ask them, hey, do you have an existing survey from when you closed on the house? Yeah, we have that somewhere. It's in our safe or it's in the attic, but it slips through the cracks and the seller forgets to give them that existing survey. But when an offer comes through, box 1 is typically checked within blank number of days. Usually a good number is 10, 14 days. Of the effective date of the contract, seller shall furnish to the buyer, the title company, and the lender a copy of the existing survey and a T47 real property affidavit. This affidavit says that no permanent improvements have been made to this property since the date of this survey, or if there have been improvements made, the following improvements have been made, and then they list it out. Well, 2 snags that occur all the time on this paragraph. Number 1, seller can't find their survey. They can't find their survey, but the way that they and maybe their agent read this paragraph, the very last sentence says, if the existing survey or affidavit is not acceptable to the title company or the lender, then the buyer shall obtain a new survey at seller's or buyer's expense, no later than 3 days prior to closing. Well, if the box for buyer's expense is checked, the seller and sometimes the listing agent, who is incorrect, believe that that means that the buyers are paying for a new survey even if the sellers don't give them the existing one. They thought they had it, but they don't. Not the case. Carefully read if the existing survey or affidavit is not acceptable to the title company, meaning it was supplied. The sentence right above that, which is in bold, says that if the seller fails to furnish the survey or the affidavit, the seller will pay for a new survey at seller's expense, regardless of which box below is checked, okay? The other snag is this. An affidavit is only an affidavit if it is notarized. And that T47 must be notarized in order to fulfill the obligation of supplying a T47 affidavit and a survey to title company and lender. And it sounds like a technicality, which I guess it is, but the bottom line is, if the letter of the law is not followed with these paragraphs, there will be consequences. And the consequence in this case is sellers springing for a new survey. So be careful on paragraph 6C.